Welcome to Success Talks with Rodney Salisbury. I hope you will support my sponsors who bring you this podcast absolutely free and with limited interruptions. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen. I'll get started in just a second.
The reviews are in. The book from voiceover superstar and coach Rodney Salisbury is another runaway hit. Readers from all over the world are raving about tongue twisters and vocal warm-ups. You can find this and his other titles at the top of the voiceover bestsellers list on Amazon.
Reginald Lewis. Reginald F. Lewis was born December 7th, 1942. He was an American businessman. He was one of the richest African-American men in the 1980s and the first African-American to build a billion-dollar company, TLC Beatrice International Holdings, Inc. In 1993, Forbes listed Lewis among the 400 richest Americans, with a net worth estimated at $1.4 billion. Are you looking for expert advice on advancing your voiceover career? Are you just getting started in the business? Join the Consultants Club and receive monthly coaching on how to read scripts, interpret copy, and get work in the fastest growing business in the world. When you join the Consultants Club, go to RodneySalisbury.com and sign up. Lewis was strongly influenced by his family. His parents, grandparents, uncles, and aunts always encouraged Lewis to be the best that you can be. Reginald's grandmother would teach him the importance of saving, even cutting and peeling strips from the bottom of a tin can and nailing it to the floor of a closet to protect his savings. At the age of 10, Lewis set up a delivery route to sell the Afro-American newspaper. After building the business from 10 customers to more than 100 in 2 years, he sold the route and made a profit. And we'll be back after this message.
Baby, come give me something.
You Can Bank on Your Voice, second edition. Get your copy at Amazon.com. Get the audiobook on Audible.com. You Can Bank on Your Voice, second edition. Get your copy today. From the time he was a young man in high school and in college, he had an intense focus on success. Reginald attended Dunbar High School, where he distinguished himself as an athlete on the playing field and a hardworking student in the classroom. He was quarterback of the football team, shortstop for varsity baseball, a forward on the basketball team, and was team captain of all three. You see, Reginald was always a leader. He was also elected vice president of the student body. Despite the demands of sports and studies, Lewis also worked nights and weekends at a local country club to clothe himself and eventually purchase his own car. And in 1961, Lewis entered Virginia State University on a football scholarship. After an injury cut his football career short, he shifted his focus to school and work. One of the jobs was a photographer's sales assistant. He generated so much business that he was offered a partnership. But Reginald declined because he had bigger things in mind for the future. A handwritten schedule that he kept says, to be a good lawyer, one must study hard. And he did, graduating on the dean's list his senior year. In 1965, the Rockefeller Foundation funded a summer school program at Harvard Law School to introduce a select number of black students to legal study. Reginald lobbied for his acceptance and got in. He made such an impression that Lewis was invited to attend Harvard Law School that fall. The only person in the 148-year history of the school to be admitted before applying. His senior year thesis on mergers and acquisitions received an honors grade, and after graduation, Lewis landed a job practicing corporate law with the prestigious New York law firm.
Hello everyone, this is Sean Daly for dailyvo.com. I want to tell you about one resource I highly recommend for vocal warm-ups because it takes out all of the guesswork and it was purpose-built with voiceover in mind. It's called Rodney Salisbury's Tongue Twisters and Vocal Warm-Ups with Other Vocal Care Tips. How's that for a title? So in case you don't know, Rodney Salisbury is a top-tier talent and coach, motivational speaker, and author of several books on voice acting, including You Can Bank on Your Voice and Step Up to the Mic. The book is available in print and on Kindle, and you can find it at Amazon or Rodney's personal website, RodneySalisbury.com.
Along the way, he had the desire to do, as he said, do the deals myself. So he established TLC Group, LP, in 1983. His first successful venture was the $22.5 million leveraged buyout of McCall Pattern Company, and led the company to two of the most profitable years in McCall's 113-year history. In the summer of 1987, he sold the company for $65 million, making a 90-to-1 return on his investment. And just months after that successful exit, Reginald outbid huge firms like Citicorp to secure the purchase of Beatrice Foods. And Beatrice Foods consisted of 64 companies in 31 countries. At $985 million, the deal was the largest leveraged buyout of overseas assets by an American company at that time. Graylin Brown, the new novel by Rodney Salisbury. It's the heartwarming story about a family in Detroit. The Motown sound was alive and well. The Philly soul sound was alive and well. And the big three automakers were making wonderful cars every day. Graylin Brown, the novel. Get your copy at Amazon.com or wherever books are sold. By 1992, the company had sales of over $1.8 billion annually, making it the first Black-owned business to generate $1 billion in annual sales. The remarkable life and career of Reginald F. Lewis was cut short by his untimely death after a short illness in January 1993. He was only 50 years old. Lewis is survived by his wife, Loida Nicholas Lewis, and his two daughters, Leslie M. Lewis and Christina S. N. Lewis Halpern. The family continues to support educational programs and organizations dedicated to equipping underprivileged students with resources to succeed. And today, the legacy continues. And we here at Success Talks are proud to celebrate the outstanding career of Reginald F. Lewis.
You can listen to any of Rodney's podcasts at any time. Go to RodneySalisbury.com.
I hope you enjoyed this podcast, and I urge you to listen to future podcasts where I will continue to try and make you better than before. My goal is to point you in a positive direction to success right here on Success Talks with me, Rodney Salisbury.
Change my way.